A listener warning. Please be advised that this episode contains content that may be disturbing to some listeners, including descriptions of violence. Listener discretion is advised.
Life upon the wicked stage ain't ever what a girl supposes.
I'm Jen.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Olivia.
And we are, in fact, three different people.
This podcast focuses on true crime under the spotlight of arts and entertainment. So grab your beverage of choice and settle in.
Places, ladies.
Here's our episode. Here we are again.
It's been so long.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Woo!
It has been so long, listeners, that I fully got engaged since we last recorded.
That's right.
That's right.
Even Jack the Ripper, I was on a couch with
That's
no
right.
idea.
No ring on your finger.
With the Fish and Brits pod. We've had so many developments. It's almost the end of the year, but not quite.
Not quite.
That's
the
right.
year of the snake. We're shedding things. I've moved out. As you can see, this is not my home. If you're watching,
Listeners, Jen has a really interesting background right now, which will probably change by our next recording.
yes, yeah. This is not my family. This is the family of whoever owns this Airbnb.
These are not. We're
not
hoping
my-
they're family and not.
We hope, and not victims.
Yeah, and it's not trophy pictures from
but
someone.
everything's been fine so far. So I
They're
think
all
we're
buried
good.
under the house.
Jen's
There
an
is an odd
Airbnb.
smell, but I think it's just the the wax things.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just not my
It's
not
not
my
the
scent.
typical.
I have antlers on.
You do. They're so cute.
And Olivia, listeners, had a memorable birthday recently, which we
We've
last
seen
night.
each other. We've just not all been together recording.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, we haven't seen you. The Olivia, tell I need the listeners to hear this, but can you share the anecdote that your mother shares about your birth?
My birth?
About your birthday,
Yeah, please,
specifically your
please.
timing of your entrance into this
Yeah,
wonderful
because we
world.
didn't know.
Yes. Many years ago, several decades and a half now, plus one. Yes, my mom went into labor with me December 19th, early in the morning, and apparently I was being very stubborn all day.
Typical.
And yep. But they didn't send her home. They told her she had to stay in the hospital because her blood pressure was a little elevated. And she was like, but isn't that normal? And they said, ma'am, you're 37. So she was considered geriatric.
Oh God.
Pregnancy. So, but yeah, so they ended up, I guess, having to induce. And one thing I found out last night for the first time, either I had forgotten or I hadn't heard, was that, so my mom was a dance teacher at the time, and the women's adult tap class at School of Performing Arts knew she had been in labor all day. So that night during their class, Patty Watson Walsh, infamous in the Orlando dance community, apparently said, all right, ladies, let's tap that baby out of there. So they did... they hoofed it just for me to get
You're a hoofer from the very
birthed
beginning.
out of the oven. I arrived at 8:29 p.m. on December 19th, and my parents said I arrived 1 minute to curtain, because at the time curtain was at 8:30
Places.
back then. So yep, I made it just
She
in
made it to
time.
places.
Made it to places. Thank you, one. I made it.
She's here.
1 minute to curtain.
Oh, I love it so much.
So on brand, Olivia.
Totally on brand. For those of our listeners that are watching, should we show them our matching
Should.
accoutrement?
Ladies,
Tits up.
tits up, ladies. Yeah, aim my Floozy.
For those who are not watching this on video, we do now have we have some Floozy merch. Olivia is also sporting the Floozy
love it.
baseball hat. This will at some point be live for purchase on the interwebs via our store.
You
So
too can be a proud Floozy.
And remember, it is gender neutral.
It is. Anyone can be Floozy. It's more about the energy than...
It's more about the energy than the equipment.
Yeah,
Indeed.
it's what you
Indeed.
bring, the energy that you bring. Yes.
Very good, Olivia.
Thank you.
Well, we have a very special Christmas episode here, just under the wire. So we thought last year was delightfully unhinged as well. I just re-listened to it this past week, but
So unhinged.
this is a Santa's bag, if you will, like a little something for everyone. So it's just like a round robin of just things we wanted to talk about that are sort of loosely related to some of our usual subject matter. So
I'm gonna light my candle.
Yeah. Oh yes, light it.
Hold on, I have 2 candles to light. So it's my traditional Jensen Ackles candle.
Yes, of
course.
Because I do actually get
Absolutely.
to talk about him a little bit today.
Amazing.
Super exciting.
Clutch my
However,
pearls.
also, Ashley and I received these from Miss Bonner last night.
They are Detective Olivia Benson, our Lord
Our
and
queen.
Savior.
Patron saint
Of us.
Candles, which
Yeah.
are
Sure.
the gift
There
that
you go.
keeps on giving, really.
Yeah.
Like,
So there she is. Dun dun.
Dun, dun.
wouldn't it be amazing if when you lit it, it made that noise somehow?
Like the wick made that noise.
Missed
instead of-
opportunity, guys.
We're gonna
What
figure
is
out how to
that?
do that and make
So I
millions.
have Jensen and Benson. Oh my god.
Jensen,
Jensen and
planned.
Benson.
I'm
Jensen and Benson
screaming.
are glowing around me right now. Oh my god. That's going to be it from now on. Every
Jensen
episode
and Benson.
I have Jensen and Benson.
Oh, I'm screaming. Well, Jen,
Oh my gosh.
are you
Yeah.
kicking us off, Jen?
I'm kicking us off. I do
Okay.
want everyone to know, it's very important that you all know, I still do have 3 beverages, even though I'm not in
Yeah,
a permanent
nice.
home. So
You know what? Today, weirdly enough, I do as well. I didn't plan to. I have my wine.
wine, very good.
My
We're very
nice
happy.
deep
Yep,
red
wine. One
I
for
have
fun.
my water. But
One for hydration.
I also have my coffee in my nutcracker mug
That's
that
right.
Jen gave me for my birthday last
And one
night.
for caffeination. Yeah.
Very cute. Very cute.
Yeah.
You have the correct balance there, Olivia.
I do.
I'm proud of you.
I only have 2 beverages. I feel
It's
left
okay.
out.
God, Ashley.
Don't feel left out.
Falling
That's
down on
like
the job.
that's like using an app to translate a foreign language because you're too lazy to learn it.
She's not going to learn Portuguese.
I'm
for
going to
one
learn
trip.
as much as I can. Listeners, I'm going to Portugal for Filmapalooza because our movie won the 48-hour film festival. And I have to
Yeah.
learn some Portuguese. But I also today got an iPhone because it's going to help me hear what's going on around me.
Because she figured out there's an app.
There's
it's
an
the
app for that.
Lazy Floozy's way to visit another country.
They're excited because now our text thread are all blue.
Work smarter, not harder. That's
Exactly.
That's what this is all about. Yeah, I support you, Jen. I support
Thank you.
So Jen and your 3 beverages, what are you talking about?
Today I'm talking about ghosts.
This is Jen. I saw this go around on the Instagram, and it was something about like that song. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yes.
and it's like a guy who has no idea what Christmas is about chimes in for his verse, and there'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of
Yeah.
Christmases long ago, which apparently is in fact like an actual thing. It's not just an unhinged song.
An
lyric.
unhinged lyric. Exactly.
I've always felt like they couldn't think of anything to rhyme.
To rhyme
so
with
they're
any-
like,
Parties
Scary
for
ghost
hosting,
stories.
marshmallows for
Just for
toasting,
toasting.
and then we jump to ghost stories. Yeah,
Yeah. And it's a tradition. We have scary ghost stories and then of course A Christmas Carol, which is one of the most famous stories that we see in every iteration year after year after year. So, we're going to dive into kind of why we tell ghost stories at Christmas. So, here we go.
My body's ready.
Okay. It's really very interesting. So most people think that it was Charles Dickens and A Christmas Carol that really brought this around. No. It was around for years and years and years before, this ghost storytelling tradition. However, Charles Dickens did give Christmas a little bit of a resurgence, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But humans are storytellers. We have been forever. I mean, caves have paintings on the walls, and and it was a way of life in medieval Europe, and long before that, the Romans. And we're a storytelling culture, and kinds of stories that we choose to tell kind of reflect our fears and our hopes, our dreams, and our religious beliefs. So it's no surprise that 2 different religious observations played a role in normalizing telling ghost stories on Christmas Eve.
Really?
Yule and Saturnalia. Forgive me, Romans, if I said that incorrectly, but clearly that is the Saturn, his festival.
Oh, so Saturnalia or Saturnalia
Or Saturnalia,
is a festival?
Yeah, is a festival. So this was during the winter months, and Romans were worried that evil spirits were threatening the sun. So to protect themselves and thereby the sun, Romans would disguise themselves as devils to scare off the real ones.
What?
This is interesting. This is going to tie in, Jen. With
I'm
my
so
piece
excited.
later. This is so funny. Okay.
I
never
thought
heard
that.
of any of this. This is okay.
Yep.
Right? They even wore cone-shaped hats,
Oh.
like,
Like a David the Gnome situation.
like Santa.
No, they're very conical, like the David
Very
the Gnome
conical.
hats. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Yule is a Germanic pagan holiday, and it is associated with the winter solstice, which is technically December 21st through 22nd, which
Yep.
is
This year it is tomorrow, the 21st.
tomorrow.
Yep.
Coincidentally why Christmas is on December 25th and not in the spring.
Wait, so sidebar real quick. Why then, as part of Christmas, did we just like excise like the Yule log and we're like, yeah, this is one of our props now? Like if Yule was its own thing? Like
I actually know. Do you know
Do you know
this?
it?
I don't
Go
want to
ahead.
take.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yes. It's because the pagan ritual of solstice was always the 21st. However, Dionysus and Bacchus, their birthday was December 25th. So it was a very close celebration. When the Christians invaded and took over, the kind of culture of Rome and Roman Empire.
crusading.
Yep. When they
Crusading.
they were crusading, Aiden, but yeah, like 7 gods for 7 deities. And
write
the
that.
Wiccans
That's
were
a-
crusading. Yeah,
Sovereign
That's a
women.
fringe show
not a
right
soul.
there.
Not a soul. Yep.
nobody's got that one. Okay, so anyway, when they took over, they were assimilating the pagans into the Christian religion.
Yep.
And so and part of doing that was rather than just demolishing these thousands of years of traditions, they made it part of the Christian religion. So they absorbed Dionysus and Bacchus's birthday of December 25th and made that Jesus's birthday.
Yep.
Even though if you read the Bible, which always shocks people that I have, when you read the Bible,
I have too.
the time of year when the shepherds were in their fields was not December. Nobody was in the field in December. So it actually doesn't make sense that Jesus's birthday would be December 25th. But the star, the Christmas tree, the wreaths, the holly and the ivy are all actually, and mistletoe, those are all actually pagan symbols that they kind of use their own symbols against them to suppress the people and make their religion more closely aligned to Christianity.
Yep.
So we took the props. We took the props from the props table.
Yep.
We touched someone else's prop and we're like, I
love that
I
it's
like
Dionysus.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the fact
Dionysus.
that it's Dionysus' birthday.
Ancient. Yeah.
Like the god of wine and frivolity
song.
and
Yeah.
But anyway.
That's
But
so
yes.
funny. Yes. Well, thank you for clarifying
Correct.
this because
Thank you.
This is like, it's like how why do we have this and what does this have to do with anything?
Yeah.
Okay. So Yule, Jen.
So Yule. So in Nordic traditions, there were Yule logs, as we just talked about a second ago. Elves. Mm-hmm. Very big in the Nordic
Yeah.
folklore. Santa is an elf.
Yes, he is. He was tiny originally. He was
Tiny,
very small,
tiny.
compact Santa, little Santa.
Little Santa. And ghosts. Some contend that the original festival of Yule was sort of a Norse Day of the Dead.
Oh.
So that's still, they're like not quite sure, but that is something that some of the historians think. So these early stories, largely contained in the Northern sagas, are particularly gory.
Oh.
So, yeah. Old Scandinavian stories in which revenants or risen corpses would terrorize their former communities.
Yee.
So Day of the Dead, it was not
I wonder
necessarily
if
a
this
good thing.
gave rise also to vampire.
Could be.
Because they
Sure.
thought they rose from the dead.
Romania, Norway.
Exactly. It's all connected, right? And in those bleak midwinter days, people, the harvest was like way off in the distance. And it was really believed that the veil between this world and the next was at its thinnest. Because obviously, Halloween, Olivia, remind me, I can't say it correctly.
Samhain. Samhain, which is spelled Samhain.
Samhain, yeah.
Samhain.
I was like, I know I'm going to say it wrong.
Yeah,
So,
and that October 31st is when
Yes.
the veil is thinnest.
The
but
thinnest.
to your point, the darkest night is now. And so
Right.
that is seen as a very heavy spiritual time. Yeah.
Exactly. So the dead could revisit, return and visit the living, either for good or for evil. And across Europe, people would huddle around a fire with a warm drink and tell blood-curdling tales to pass the long nights. And many of the fantastical stories survive for us to recount today. So, in the Middle Ages, supernatural beings were good at breaking up midwinter feasts. So, in Beowulf, Grendel terrorizes the Danish mead hall for 12 winters. So, it's during this time. In the 14th century poem Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, the legendary King Arthur's Yuletide feast, so Yuletide, is interrupted when a mysterious green stranger yielding a green axe and riding a green horse barges into the dismay of all the guests. And then there's like this odd thing that he...
And I wonder if that
Says.
ties into the Green Man.
Very much
legend
so.
of the
It's
Green Man.
the same. If you look at the
Okay.
mask, like it's the same
Yeah.
face. And Gawain has to go find him, and it's a whole thing about beheading. It's very gory.
Merry Christmas. Here's some
Merry Christmas. I'm going to cut off your head.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah. So even Shakespeare tells us that this has gone back centuries. So in A Winter's Tale, one of the characters said, "A sad tale's best for winter. I have one of sprites and goblins."
Oh.
And the titular Jew of Malta in Christopher Marlowe's play at one point says, "Now I remember those old women's words who in my wealth would tell me winter's tales and speak of spirits and ghosts by night." So it's been around forever and ever and ever.
So those of us that question that line of
In that
scary
song.
ghost stories, we're just uneducated, basically.
We're uncultured swine.
Uncultured
Uncultured swine.
Is what Andy Williams, it's the most wonderful time of the year,
That's
is
what
in
Andy-
fact telling us.
Imagine if he was like, "There were scary ghost stories, you uncultured swine," and
Just threw it in there. But the reason we're uncultured swine is because if you remember, there was a time in England, especially, where there was no Christmas around the time of a man named Oliver Cromwell, a Puritan, for about 20 years, who beheaded King Charles I. Christmas was on top of his list to get rid of. Remember? No music, no running, no leaping.
That's right.
Of
We
any
talked about this.
any
Season
sort.
1, episode.
Season
That's
one,
right.
3,
10 Lords
no
of Leaping.
wind.
10
No
Lords of Leaping.
leaping.
Get out of here.
No
Yeah.
leaping, no running.
We
no
talked
festivals.
about this.
That's
you can
right, we
sit
did.
still in your house and you can pray, and
That's
these are your activities. What was it, Jen? It was real extreme too for those who may have
Yeah.
not heard that episode. It was also like unnecessary
Walking. You could only walk to get somewhere. You couldn't walk for pleasure.
Just very and like you
Yeah.
said, the suppression of just like people doing anything that even smelled remotely fun.
Yeah.
So I can see how so much art, which was of course the tools of the devil, would get lost in like music and storytelling and theater and all these things. And you said it lasted for 20 years.
20 years.
This window, yeah. So I mean that's basically a generation. of people, and it's like you can try to like bring some of it back, and I'm sure there
Yeah.
were people who were like, okay, thank God this is over, now we can go back to doing the thing. But
Right.
that's a long time to just
It's
be
a long time.
sitting still in your house.
Yeah. And those traditions of like telling ghost stories at Christmas and Christmas in general really stayed away. And this is why Charles Dickens is kind of credited for bringing Christmas back, because it was the Victorian era where it really started to have its resurgence. So by that time, so the 1800s, the restoration was like the late 1600s, early 1700s.
Yep.
By the Victorian era, they were still telling ghost stories on Christmas Eve, but the tradition had begun to wane, and that's in part due to the increased working hours of the Industrial Revolution. Christmas was just another day to work.
Please, Mr. Scrooge.
Yeah.
You would like the whole day
The
off,
whole
I
day,
suppose.
suppose. Exactly. I'd be here all the earlier the next day. Exactly. So by the time Charles Dickens came along with A Christmas Carol in 1863, that's kind of what was going on in the world. In America, Washington Irving helped to resurrect kind of some Christmas traditions in the early 19th century, but it was really Charles Dickens who popularized the notion of telling ghost stories on Christmas Eve.
With probably what is certainly the one that I couldn't tell you any other ghost stories that are Christmas stories other than Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
But I think that is also the one that certainly has stood the test of time as sort of like the quintessential banger of
The banger, indeed. Yes. He actually had two others.
Really?
One called The Chimes and one called The Haunted Man, both of which also feature an unhappy man who changes his ways after visitation by a ghost.
What?
Wow.
But nobody ever talks about it.
And they're on Christmas?
And they're on Christmas.
What?
Yeah.
Have
Someone
you guys
write
seen
this play.
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? So yeah, there you go. That's kind of the
Chimes.
history.
I had no idea about this. Wow. Jen, maybe you can speak to this too. I heard somewhere recently on another podcast about Christmas that Christmas in like the Dickensian era, that was also when they were trying to like bring it down a little bit because at some point Christmas had become almost like Mardi Gras. And it was raucous and people were like in the streets like drunk and like partying, and it was like, let's make this a quieter like family, like let's gather at home holiday and like do things for the children. Like what was that transition?
So I believe, again, much like, so Cromwell, right? He took away Christmas and everything else. So when Charles II came back and he brought back art and science and festivities, Christmas was one of the things he brought back. So yes, it just became another day to party. So Christmas, yes, was brought down and became more family oriented, but that also had a lot to do with the Industrial Revolution and the way the world was working at the time, because people were working so much harder. So much harder. And it was so much more insular. They're all living together in like these ridiculous little houses.
We didn't have a weekend. We didn't have a 9 to 5.
Exactly. So the only people you could celebrate with were your family. So there's a little bit of kind of both things happening, is that, yes, it's coming back down a little bit because of Queen Victoria. She brought the Christmas tree. Like that was her. Yeah. And the Victorian era is very buttoned up and very prim and proper and all of that. But then also the Industrial Revolution, which is forcing people to not be able to go out and have fun because they're working all the time.
I see that meme that goes around, the guy that started it wasn't Ford, but the guy that started the 5-day work week in this country. I don't think it was.
It wasn't Henry Ford?
Maybe it was, but whoever it was, there's like a meme that's like, this man, he's the worst. 5-day work week, it should be 3 or 4, and I'm like, hey idiots, before the 5-day work week it was a 7-day work week.
It was a 7-day work week,
and
there was
working
no
like 10 hours
a day,
at least a day. Yeah
he actually saved everybody.
And your children were in chimneys, like, get up there.
Where's Bobby? He's in the neighbor's chimney.
Yeah, it's like they say, like when we talk about the good old days, they're like in like film and TV, they're like, we do not represent, and like we're representing too many people with like all their limbs and all their teeth, and we really need to.
That I'll tell you what, there is a version of A Christmas Carol. FX did it a few years ago.
Is it the one with Guy Pearce?
The one with Guy Pearce.
We talked about it last
favorite.
Year.
Dark.
It's my favorite because it's so dark and it's so gritty and it's so real, and I love it.
Yeah.
He goes after Mrs. Cratchit.
He sure does. Scrooge is like he's an ass, but you also kind of see how he gets there, which I also really appreciate.
It's more the villain origin story of the like what made you this way, Mr. Scrooge?
Everybody has an origin story.
I recently rewatched. I'm working my way through my Christmas movie canon still.
Same.
And
There's no time.
I watched the George C. Scott Christmas Carol, which I hadn't watched in a minute. And can we just say, this is neither here nor there, but can we just say the most upsetting Tiny Tim depiction? That child is terrifying. Like the makeup job on that child, all the representations, like Tiny Tim, he's unwell. That Tiny Tim is terrifying.
So unwell.
If you know, you know.
It's been a long time since I've seen the George. Isn't that the one?
The thing I love about George C. Scott is that he like has a sense of humor as Scrooge.
Yeah. He's like a little laugh. He's like
He's a little unhinged.
humbug. Yeah,
I'm like, okay, all
Is
right.
that's the one that ends with Father Christmas?
No.
Father Christmas?
No.
That's
It's not a
Scrooge
musical.
with Albert
That's-
Finney.
Albert Finney. That's
The
right,
George
that's right.
C. Scott one is really interesting because, and I didn't know this, I was reading about it. It was made to be a TV movie.
Oh.
And it was
Yeah,
so
that
popular,
tracks.
they actually retrofitted it into the movie theaters.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
They were like,
Oh.
just kidding, this did really well. Let's let it have a theatrical
The guy
run.
that plays Fred, I'm not going to remember his name, but he plays Sheriff Nottingham in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yes, he
And-
does.
I love him.
He's also in The West Wing. He plays
Yes, he
Lord
is.
John Marbury.
I mean, he plays like he works all the time, but that's where I know him from.
Yes. Excellent version, deeply upsetting Tiny
Yeah.
Tim. It's like the makeup, but he also, like, you know when like little kids have those like little niblet teeth? He's got that going on.
Yeah.
I would like to see a Mel Brooks version of A Christmas Carol. That would be amazing.
You hear that, Mel Brooks? Let's tag him.
Mel Brooks. I know
Dear
you've got
Mel.
Spaceballs 2 coming out, but I think
But
A
we
Christmas
think-
Carol with Mel Brooks would be what
That would be
this
very
country
fun.
needs.
Yeah, that's my Santa's bag.
That's a great one.
Christmas,
that's really
ghost
interesting.
stories.
That's going to play in later when
I
we get
knew
to
it.
the final segment.
Well, let's put a pin in that because we're now swinging wildly from from the Victorian era all the way until the late 20th century, as the kids like to
the
are
1900s is what the kids
the
say.
late
the
1900s.
late 1900s.
They're like, oh, was that
when
in the
we
1900s?
were all born
I'm like, this is how you get murdered, child. Do you understand?
by us that were born in the late 1900s.
Well, we are. It's about to go downhill real quick.
Okay.
So I
Great.
am bringing us.
Jump on the sled. Here we go.
This has true crime and this has Christmas. This is very loosely like lowercase L loose, also maybe connected to like entertainment facing things. But I am here to bring us an update on the JonBenet Ramsey case.
This is Ashley's
I was just going
second
to say
Roman
it's
Empire.
also Ashley's Roman Empire.
Next
so
to
we're
Jaws,
really
the
excited
movie. This
for
is,
her.
Yeah.
This is one of my big true crime cases. It's this and the Zodiac.
Yep.
But I feel, stating the obvious, unlike something like the Black Dahlia, where it's just like, DNA evidence, which is what it would take to solve something like that in the Black Dahlia murder, has been lost to time. We didn't know enough to, collect it at that point. DNA wasn't even a thing in the 1940s.
Right.
So like, why would you? But the JonBenet Ramsey case happened in 1996. And so there is evidence, and that's something we're going to talk about today. There is evidence that could, in fact, lead to solving this in our lifetime. I really do think that this is something that could be solved. So
It's going to happen.
it's going to happen. And it might be happening sooner than we think, based upon this week's little update.
Really?
So,
Goodness.
strap in. So
Okay.
I am not going to do a deep dive because we don't have time.
There's
And
no time.
if we had
We're
like,
all on a 30-minute time limit, just so everybody knows. So
I
that we
did
hit
well.
our-
I was under the wire. So you have a
I
little
could
You
be
extra
did.
here for 9 hours and still probably not. So yeah, this is neither here nor there. Maybe someday we'll really get into
We'll
the
deep dive.
nitty gritty. But if you're like, Ashley, you left out a very important part, just know that I know. So just a quick aside.
Keep it to yourself, bitch. We know.
Yeah, so I was in 1996. I was 10 years old when this case happened. So
I was in high school. That
how old was I? Wait, I got it. Hold on. I'm going to use my calculator.
was my first boyfriend.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah.
you were not. No, Jen was right somewhere in between.
I was in the middle. I was in middle school, probably. I
So
graduated in 2000.
I was 10 and I was sort of I don't know if I would say it was when I was becoming aware maybe of like adult and world news, because this was other than maybe like the death of Princess Diana the following year, this was like supermarket tabloid fodder for
everywhere.
so long. And it was the first time really in my lifetime of seeing another child sort of represented like in like news and media that way. Because like, you know, like there was like always like, you know, tabloids and there was stuff about like the O.J. Simpson case, but it was always like adults doing something crazy. So this is like a kid who's like, you know, a little younger than myself. JonBenet was born in 1990. She's actually the same age as my brother, which would mean she would be.
Realize that.
Yeah, she'd be 35 if she was alive today. Yeah, so like just close in age to us, you know.
Wow.
This is neither here nor there, but I visited Boulder, Colorado. I was in Colorado. I was in Denver, but went to Boulder during that visit.
So close.
Yeah, it's just a little drive away. But I visited just one time in 2009, and we were in Boulder. The friend of mine I was visiting, we were doing something else there, and I was sort of like, wait a minute, we're in Boulder. And I was like, isn't it like the JonBenét Ramsey house? Isn't this like in Boulder? And she's like, yeah. And it was the weirdest thing. We were driving up a street, and I think she was driving, and I just like looked over, and we were in front of the house. Like hadn't necessarily like, I don't think we were like seeking it out or anything. It was just like, isn't it somewhere in this area? And the area where the house is located, interestingly, it reminds me, Boulder and Denver is very different. Like it's more like it's mountainous, you know, it's just, it's a very different terrain. But the way that neighborhood it's set up, it's not like a residential neighborhood that has like a name and you like drive in. It's more like if you live here in Florida and Orlando where we live, it's almost like Thornton Park, where it is very much a neighborhood, but it's not necessarily its own neighborhood that's like separated in any big way from like some of the more like restaurants or like shopping or like downtown. It's just like you're kind of going through, and then it's like, okay, now it's like, yeah, it's like very residential, but it's very narrow. Like it's just, it's like, you know, one way, you know, going either way, like, you know, not supposed to park on the street. It's relatively narrow.
I can still picture the house. Like I feel like it's burned into my brain.
Yeah.
The brick home with the big lawn.
Yeah. And the most unsettling thing about driving by, in the driveway of the house, I couldn't help but notice a children's tricycle. Meaning someone who had subsequently bought and moved into that house had a child, a small child. God. And I was like, I'm not judging anybody, but I also know that was an extremely expensive house. Like it's a couple $1 million probably.
At this point, yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it was listed again in like 2023 for like $7 million. Like it's a huge house. It's over 6,000 square feet.
Yeah, it's big. I remember it being really big.
It's not been torn down or renovated, I should say, at all.
Based on the post I saw when it was most recently relisted, it's like been upgraded. Like we redid the kitchen, like stuff like that.
New granite countertops.
The basement.
How about the basement?
The basement where spoilers, she was found. They finished the basement because the basement was unfinished when she was found. So like they finished the basement, but it's like, but it's still the basement. Like now there's just like a pool table.
They covered up the DNA, like
fill in the basement. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what you would do with that, Olivia. But yeah, but at that time in 2009, someone with a child was living in this house, and I'm like, I guess you got to live somewhere, but I don't know that as a parent I would want to buy a home where a child, at the very least, like perished under questionable circumstances. So
that's why I'm not a parent, so I can buy houses like that.
That's why you're not a parent.
Yeah, so I can buy haunted houses, really. Sorry.
It's always the kids that get possessed first anyway.
Right. Yeah, that is yeah, exactly. So I'm saving, anyway.
So we're going to dive in. For those who are uninitiated, I'm just going to cover some of the broad strokes of this case. But the reason we're talking about this now is that infamously, this crime took place sometime between December 25th and 26th, was when JonBenet Ramsey was in fact killed and then discovered in her home later on December 26th. And one of the suspects may or may not be affiliated with Schmantishmaws. So we're going to talk about this. Schmantishmaws.
For a split second, I'm like, what does that rhyme with? Oh.
Not an elf.
Not an elf.
Not the elf version.
So important. These are some of the big details. We're going to kick it off with the big details. And some of these things are things that you'll be like, yeah, this sounds familiar. And some things I was unfamiliar with this until I sort of like redug in for purposes of our little drive-by here today. So on the night that JonBenet was killed, there had actually been 2 windows in the house that were left slightly open to allow for electrical cord for outside Christmas light to pass through to be plugged in inside the house. Oh. There was a broken basement window, so a 3rd window. The window was broken in the summer. The dad, John Ramsey, had like locked himself out of the house, and so he like broke the basement window to get back in, and like literally just like forgot to ever fix it. And there was one unlocked door.
Stop it.
Where?
I think I only heard of the window.
Right.
Yeah, I heard of the
basement.
broken basement window.
Yep.
Right.
So, but they had left a door unlocked. It was later verified. They were like, oh, shoot. Because again, as we just mentioned, this house was huge. It had so many entrances and exits. It had like 3 staircases. The house is 4 stories if you count the basement.
Oh,
it's over 6,000 square feet. This is a massive house.
What would you do with that much space?
And it's
That's like Kevin McAllister's house.
Well, and unlike Kevin McAllister's house, the flow is crazy. If you look at like a floor plan of this house, so for there to be essentially unsecured windows and doors, you're like, how could you leave your house with like a door unlocked? There were so many. It's not
No, I could see how that could
unusual.
happen.
Yeah.
It reminds me of when I was teaching and like I was in the auditorium, the doors would, if you opened them, they would unlock. So people would just go out, and I was like, I'm trying to keep them locked, but I can't keep them
like,
locked.
whoopsies.
There are too many doors. There are too many.
Yeah, like easy to
many doors.
happen. Yeah, and you know, again, like multiple people. They also had like, you know, they had a housekeeper. They had like family friends over all the time.
It was
like,
Christmas time.
It was Christmas time. There were parties. There was a party just days before, which we're going to talk about. But that evening, December 25th, so Christmas Day, the Ramseys were out of their home for several hours that night, attending a Christmas Day dinner at their friends, the White's house. So they were gone for at least like, I think like 4 or 5 hours that evening. So,
and isn't that one of the theories that somebody came in and hid?
yes,
Right.
hid in
And the
house.
kids were with them, right? When they
Yes.
went to the party.
Yep, whole family was out of the house.
Okay.
So, Scott Gibbons, a neighbor, claimed that around midnight, while looking from his kitchen window, he saw the upper kitchen of the Ramsey residence lit up with dim light. This is something that was just, this was one of those details I was like, interesting, because according to like testimony, the family, like they got home, I think by like, you know, 10-ish and went to bed immediately. They got home from this party because they were leaving the following morning to go out of town. They were like catching an early flight.
Right.
Yeah.
And part of the issue was,
right.
wasn't there like a bowl of strawberries or pineapple or something?
We're going to talk about that. But yes,
Milk.
there was, So, but they were like, we went to bed immediately. Like we literally got home, like put the kids to bed, put ourselves to bed. Like we had to be up like really early. So like we didn't do anything. So this neighbor says, well, I saw a light in the kitchen after midnight. So that was odd because allegedly everyone was asleep and the rest of the house was dark. Another neighbor, Melody Stanton, reported that she awoke shortly after midnight to the sound of a child's scream coming from the Ramsey residence.
Stop it.
Stanton lived diagonally across the street, which, as we established, is pretty narrow. Like it's like it's like a neighborhood street. Like a car can come and go either way, but it's narrow. I looked up where this house was. It's very close. So this is like, it was like, where
You
on the
passed
street?
it.
Like, yeah, what neighbor? It's very, very close. Like you can see it on Google Maps. But she told investigators she had gone to bed around 10 p.m. with her window slightly open and estimated the scream occurred between midnight and 2 a.m., lasted about 3 to 5 seconds, and stopped suddenly.
That's a long scream.
That is a long scream. Like, it's longer than you think.
It should be. Yeah.
4. 5.
Like, that's a long scream.
But if it woke up the neighbor, why wouldn't it wake up anyone in the house?
Questions, Olivia, questions. So there's various, but these are the 2 people who are sort of the only, we'll call them eyewitnesses, like the only, like, did anyone see or hear anything? These are the only 2 people who are anywhere on record. There has been, you know, some back and forth about like, well, are you sure? Like, was it definitely like coming from their house? Like exactly what time? Like, but these are the only 2 people who are sort of on record as saying, yeah, this thing happened. That was weird that night. So the mom, Patsy Ramsey, following morning, she comes downstairs. It's super early. She's like, I'm going to put the coffee on, like, you know, before we go to the airport kind of thing. Patsy Ramsey sees on like there's like a little spiral staircase. It's not like one of the main flights of stairs. It's like a little, like almost like you would see like backstage at a theater, a little spiral staircase. And on the treads of 3 of the stairs, there are 3 pages laid out of a handwritten ransom note that is 2.5 pages long. It's handwritten. And the note demands $118,000
Right.
for JonBenet's return.
Right.
Which is a weird amount.
Very specific.
So the father points out, when the police are like asking them about the ransom note, because obviously they call the police immediately, even though the note says not to. The ransom note, the amount mentioned, it was almost identical. Like it didn't include the change, but $118,000 was the amount of money that John Ramsey, the father, had received for his Christmas bonus the year prior. So on all of his pay stubs that were in the home for the whole year, this amount was reflected on the pay stubs. So if someone had been hanging out in the house and was like looking at papers, like on a desk, you would see this like bonus $118,000 and like
Sure.
37 cents or whatever.
Everything I've ever heard, it makes it sound like somebody knew that that's what he
Yes.
was getting.
Yes, this is something that's confusing
You
for
know,
people because
yeah.
they say Christmas bonus and it's like, oh, well, it was just Christmas. Like, how could you know that already?
How could you know that was coming? Yeah.
It was for 95, but it was reflected for the whole year on his pay stub. So it was just one of those like, huh. The ransom note also appears to echo film dialogue from the movies Ruthless People, Ransom, Escape from New York, Speed, and Dirty Harry. Like the language in the note, like I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there's like a line that's like, if we catch you talking to a stray dog, she dies. And like that is a line from a movie. So they're
right
like,
from it.
it's like someone who was a movie buff wrote this ransom
it's
note.
straight from the movies.
Yeah, like really weird. The ransom note was unusually long. The note and a practice draft were written with a pen and notepad from inside the Ramsey home. So they wrote it sitting there at some point, either before or after the crime. Michael Baden, a board-certified pathologist, he consulted on the case, and he said he had never seen a note like this in his 60 years of experience, and he did not think that it was written by a stranger. So,
See, this brings me back to how old was the brother?
9. He was also a lot. He was a big 9, and she was a small 6. So I'm not going to read the whole note, but it's an extremely long note. It's extremely specific. So the note is weird. Like from the jump, we have this ransom note. It's extremely odd. As we'll later find out, she is already dead when they have found this ransom note. So it is also unusual to have something that is staged as a kidnapping, but then later turns out to, in fact, be like a murder, and her body ostensibly never left the house. So it's like, why would you go to the trouble of... Why would you go to the trouble of writing this in the first place if you never took her? And also, this didn't seem to be the goal, was to take her. Like why? Why would you even write this at all ever? So police arrived, and very quickly also family friends arrived, because the parents like called them and were like, oh my gosh, like she's missing. They think she's missing. Like, please, like come over, like for like moral support. So all these people arrive in the home and are there for several hours. The only part of the house that was blocked off for like, this is a crime scene, was her bedroom. But there are people coming and going, like touching like everything, because they don't realize that the whole house is a crime scene yet. Also,
It's like
just
a crime scene from the 1800s when everybody just came in to look at everything.
yeah, and everyone's like touching everything. You're like, wait, like how did that get there? So people are in the house for several hours before JonBenet's body was finally discovered in a basement closet, often referred to as a wine cellar. There was no wine in it, but they called it that. But it was in a basement closet found by her father along with their family friend Fleet White. Unfortunately, her body was immediately contaminated. They removed some tape that was on her mouth. Her father physically picked her up and brought her upstairs. They laid her on a carpet in an entryway of the house. They covered her by another blanket. Both of her parents, especially her mother, were like touching her and like throwing themselves like on top of her. So it was just like any evidence was immediately like contaminated. It was like, no, like, and it's like, you can't, you're not even thinking at that point like about that. You're just like freaking out. And that this has happened because you thought she was missing, and then now like she's there but clearly is not alive. An autopsy revealed that JonBenet was killed by strangulation and or a skull fracture to like the back of her head. Like they don't know exactly what she was hit with, but it was odd, and they still like just sort of have both like listed as cause of death because it was impossible for them to say like which came first and or which was the one that that actually killed her. But the autopsy also revealed, to your point, Olivia, that there was a vegetable or fruit material, likely pineapple, that she had eaten a few hours before her death, which was because of where it was, like in her digestive tract. Like it hadn't been digested, hadn't even like made it to the stomach yet. And it was a little bit, it was like a bite, like very small.
Okay.
And there are photographs of the home taken on the day that her body was found. So like when they're just sort of like, okay, like let's take some pictures, like, what's going on around the house, anything that might be evidence. There was a bowl of pineapple on the kitchen table with a spoon in it, but neither parent said they remembered putting it on the table or giving her pineapple at any point the night before, because they're like, no, she didn't have pineapple. Like we went to this party, came home, put her to bed. There was other food further in her stomach that was like, yeah, she ate that food at the party, or like that was what we had for dinner. So they could see it was like several hours later, like she had this pineapple like late at night. Like it had to be like within, I think they said like within an hour of her being killed. Like it was like pineapple like died. So the confluence of like Christmas, JonBenet's pageant background, this affluent family, I think the father's company made over $1 billion that year. Like they were extremely wealthy. And then the strange circumstances of like, this seems to be a kidnapping, but then it turns into a murder. And then the resulting media circus, like, as we said, like this case lasted for years. The local police were sadly in over their heads and pretty much botched the investigation from the beginning because they like didn't know enough to ask for help. And they kept being like, no, we've got it. And they manifestly didn't. There had been one murder in Boulder the year before.
Wow.
So like these people
it's a
were
safe
not.
city, everyone.
It is. It was
Move
great.
to Boulder.
They just didn't have experience like investigating like serious and like violent crime. Like they'd never done it before. Like they hadn't even seen like, a body before. Like this was just not something they were equipped for at all. And by the time they enlisted experts, it was like, well, now you guys shot the bed. So her cause of death was also murky. The ransom note was super long. It was written inside the home. It had all these details that went off in various directions as though almost like intended to confuse. A bunch of other unexplained details to this day include she had like ligatures like tying her hands, but that were like loose. So it was like there's rope around your hands, but it's not like tight enough you couldn't just like take your hand out of it. Like why? Like, do you have this? The pineapple. She was wearing size 12 underwear when she was found.
Underwear.
I remember this too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's she was 6 years old, and like kids, clothing at that age, it often sort of like sizes by age. So it's like she would wear like maybe like a 6, maybe an 8 like clothing. So to have like a size 12 would be like really weird, and it was like huge on her when they were doing the autopsy. And you said she was
a small 6 too.
Yeah,
like she was a small.
Yeah, she's little.
Age.
Yeah.
But it was a size 12 kids underwear.
Yes.
Yeah.
But still like huge.
But
I remember wearing like a size 12 in kids when I was like in 5th grade or something. Yeah. Like I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So like weird, and it's like, is that hers? Like why? Like that.
And
that feels
why
really
would
weird.
an adult have a pair of kids underwear with them?
Oh God.
Why a lot of things. There was also other rope. It didn't match the rope that she was found on her, but more rope that the family said wasn't theirs, and they couldn't find anywhere else in the house. There was rope found in a guest bedroom upstairs. Just like it was like on a counter. They're like, what's this rope? Why is there other rope in this guest bedroom? That they said, and it was like in a bag. And they're like, this isn't ours. We didn't bring this in. So there was just weird rope found in the house. There was a suitcase under the broken window in the basement. Like someone stepped up on the suitcase to be able to like get themselves out of the window, because the window was high. It was probably like on like us, it would be like chest height. It's also like a pretty small window, but it was like a heavy, like one of those like hard shell suitcases. So to someone to like boost themselves like up and out of the window, maybe that they said we didn't put the suitcase there like that. Like that's really weird. And then there's the 911 call from the mom, and some people have said they can hear a third voice at the end of the call before she hangs up. And there's a third voice, someone saying, "We're not talking to you," and someone saying, "What did you find?" So this is also very garbled and suspect. Different people have different theories on, is that really even what they heard? And also, who would the third voice be? Because the parents swore that they were the only two people in the house that morning who were awake, and the brother slept through the whole thing in the morning, and he was not awake, and he would not have been the third voice. Allegedly. So everyone and no one was a suspect, including all members of the immediate family, and something like I think they had over 1,600 initial suspects.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and over the next 10 years, something like 500 people confessed to be the murderer. Yes. I was like, well, why? So
it's like the Black Dahlia. There were like 500. Yeah.
Yes,
it was
all
ridiculous.
these people, it was me. Yeah, it's like they want like the notoriety.
The notoriety, the fame, the attention, something like that.
But no one who confessed, like they could not tie any of those people to the crime because they could only manage to share details that had like been in the press, or it was stuff where like it was verified, where like, you weren't even in the country at the time, and we know like you couldn't possibly have done this, sir. Like you were in India. Like it's not you.
You were in India.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the Santa theory, because this is a big
Christmas.
A big piece of this case, but also Christmas. So neighbor Bill McReynolds, who was then in his 70s, had played Santa at a Christmas party days before and was initially one of like the big suspects. They were like, what is up with this guy? Bill McReynolds was convicted in the 1970s of an offense involving the attempted restraint and abduction of a teenage girl. I ran the math on this. In the 1970s, at the time of this crime, he was about 47 years old. So this wasn't like a misunderstanding where it's like you were 20 and you went out with your 17-year-old girlfriend. This was like, you are a middle-aged man. So I looked into this. It said the attempt failed when the girl broke free. So it wasn't like he like got her in a van kind of thing. But I was like, say more about that. Like what the hell? Because he did serve a period of time in jail, but it was like months, not years. There is no specific. I know there's no specific reporting on like the exact length, but decades later, because he had been, arrested at one point for like attempted kidnapping, that was why he'd like risen to the top of like, the suspect pool. Cause it's like, well, you had someone in your home who had attempted to kidnap a girl, but they couldn't actually find any investigation other than the fact that he had like been in the home previously, to connect him to the crime. Like there wasn't, I think they said like, no, we couldn't get him on DNA, or he had like a verified alibi like on that evening. So, but the whole attempted kidnapping thing, people were like, no, it was like years before and it wasn't like violent. And it was like, because she got away. Like,
no,
I'm sorry.
Background check your Santas first of all.
Thank you. But I was like, what were the noises? It was like this. But I tried to find like why was he trying? Like, what happened here? Because like this doesn't seem like a misunderstanding. Like, why did he attempt to abduct a teenage girl? And like there was never anything on like motive per se, or like what was this? Was this someone he knew? Like, was this like on the street? Was he drunk? Was he disturbed? Like, no information. Because the 70s, y'all, it was just like, hey, you tried to snatch that girl and she broke free, but somehow he must have had enough evidence that he did time in jail for this. So background check your Santas, y'all. And even though he's like a sweet old man now, like, my God, I don't know. Well,
Olivia knows.
And he said like later, like he died in 2002, so this man is no longer alive. But like he said something like, oh, like being like tied to this case has like ruined my life, and like I'm so sad because like she was such a sweet child and I loved her so much and I would never hurt her. But I was like, you're only tied to this case because you kidnapped
another woman. Like
when you were also like very much an adult who like knew better.
Yeah,
so, like,
you weren't a 17-year-old and it's like expunged from your record. Like
he wasn't like an innocent Santa where it was just like, oh, we looked at the guy who played Santa who had never done anything wrong in his life. It's like, no, we looked at the Santa who did time.
Right. that we should have background checked and didn't.
So
Wow.
that's about the Santa theory, but they had not ever really been able to. There was no there when they really looked into it.
Right.
So in December of 2003, forensic investigators extracted enough material from a mixed blood sample found on JonBenet's underwear, the size 12s, to establish a DNA profile. That DNA belonged to an unknown male person and excluded family members. So it was not someone in the family. The DNA was submitted to FBI's the CODIS system, which that database contains more than 1.6 million profiles, which sounds like a lot, but actually that's really not a very high number when you find out who is in CODIS and why. So CODIS is the combined DNA index system, which is the FBI's like national database. It's actually not one list, it's like multiple lists, like sort of combined, but it contains not just criminals, it contains convicted offenders, people who've been like arrested but not convicted, like never went to trial, but you're still just in there.
Right.
It contains correct like crime scene DNA, so like they don't know who it's from, but they're like, we found this saliva and we're gonna just have it like in CODIS. Also people who are like missing. So it's like Ashley has gone missing, but we have her DNA from her hairbrush and we're going to like pop it into CODIS, like in case we ever find her kind of thing. Also people who are unidentified. So they'll put their DNA in CODIS if they can ever match it. Voluntary DNA submissions. You can put yourself in CODIS, friends. There's
I should put myself in CODIS.
It's not
You
open to
should.
the public. It doesn't quite work that way. But you can volunteer your DNA in order to be excluded. So, like, let's say someone in your
not
household.
to like save myself in the future.
No, it doesn't work that way. But like, let's say like someone in your family has been like found murdered in your house, and you're like, well, I'm going to give my DNA to exclude me as a suspect. You end up in CODIS. And then also, but yeah, it's not open to the public. It also does not include, it is separate from like, we hear about like, Ancestry or 23andMe.
Yeah.
It is separate from that. Like that stuff does not go into CODIS. Also like people who, victims whose DNA is identified and excluded, they're not in CODIS, and witnesses don't go into CODIS.
Wow.
So just a little bit about CODIS there. But basically, if you are a bad guy, but you have never been convicted of a crime that resulted in you having your DNA taken, you're not going to be in CODIS. So if you're just uncaught, you're not in there. So in October of 2016, there was a follow-up report that said new forensic analysis with more sensitive techniques revealed that the original DNA contained genetic markers from 2 individuals other than JonBenet. So now we have 2 genetic profiles somewhere on this evidence. It was mostly, I think, from her clothing. Also in 2016, for the first time in a Dr. Phil interview, her brother Burke said that he had been downstairs that night after everyone had gone to bed, but couldn't remember if he maybe was the one who got out the pineapple.
I remember that interview, and he had such a strange affect.
It was super strange. And again, like all the forensic stuff seems to have cleared him, and at the same time it's like, well, were you awake or not, buddy? Like did you see something? Like, can we explain like this pineapple detail? Like maybe like, did you see her awake? Like, did you hear anything? Did you like leave the light on? Like say more about that. And he just he couldn't seem to provide any more detail. But Patsy Ramsey died from cancer in 2006. John, Patsy, and Burke were officially cleared as suspects by the police in 2008. Okay. So this case has been unsolved for almost 30 years. But this week, December 18th, 2 days ago, there has been, I guess, this case is still, in fact, open and active. The Boulder police do like a little like annual update because it's like Christmas, and so they'll be like, "Hey guys!"
So excited because I have no idea what you're talking about.
So they do this annual update, which for a lot of years consists of like nothing new to report, but like we're still working on it. We're deeply committed to solving the case. This week, there was an annual update from the Boulder police, and they stated that they were considering, quote, new evidence in the case.
New evidence.
So there is, and you will know this if you've seen like documentaries or like podcasts about the JonBenet Ramsey case, there is so much evidence that has never been tested. It's just not. Like they've never tested in any way, shape, or form. So this is aside from some of the DNA that they have tested. There are other things that they recovered from the house or other pieces where they're like, it seems like there's DNA on this item. They've never tested it, which feels crazy.
Yeah.
Olivia, I could be here for another 2 hours explaining why they haven't tested some of this. Incompetence and corruption are kind of like the big headlines there, but there's literally a new sheriff in town. So this is why they are now like, okay, we have some new leadership within the Boulder police. We have more resources than we've ever had before. So like, let's get on this. So this is a direct quote. This past year, our detectives have conducted several new interviews as well as re-interviewed individuals based on tips we've received. We've also collected new evidence and tested and retested other pieces of evidence to generate new leads. Boulder Police Chief Stephen Redfern said in a December 12th video. Techniques and technology constantly evolve, and this is especially true of DNA technology. So John Ramsey, the father, he has been advocating for them to, again, like test some of this DNA evidence for years and years. And he's like, initially he was like, please exonerate my family and him, because he's still very much considered a suspect in his daughter's murder, even though he's been cleared. And they're like, it's not the father, it's not him. Yeah. But what they are now doing is they're using a company called Orum Labs to help solve this case. And Orum just became famous for helping solve the Idaho guy murders. It is one of the few cutting-edge labs in the country that can do investigative genetic genealogy. So the guy in Idaho who killed the college students and they got him on the DNA, it's the same lab is now running the DNA from the JonBenet Ramsey case.
When you say the guy in Idaho, are you talking about Koberger?
Yes.
Oh.
I don't like to say his name because he wanted to be famous, and that's like one of the
okay.
So
I was like, who's the Idaho guy? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
like a lot of
I said it.
It's okay. A lot of people just call him Idaho guy because they're like he wanted to like be a somebody, and he's
so
like,
don't say his name.
Yeah, it's like a big insult situation. So they're like, just don't give him any more attention. He's the guy in Idaho, but but it's that lab, because what they do is they are able to then like do this work to build like these genetic profiles and like genetic family trees.
Well, that's how they caught the
Golden State.
I'll Be Gone in the Dark. Yeah,
Golden
State Killer was
So the JonBenet Ramsey case is now getting the genetic genealogy treatment. Wow. So this isn't just like we said, the CODIS, like 1.6 million profiles. Like that sounds like a lot of people. There are something like 70 million people living. Like how many people live in our country? Like 200 million.
It's a lot. 8 billion on the planet. So
like 1.6
She's
million
giving
is
it a
nothing.
goog.
Yeah, give it a goog.
Give it a goog.
But yeah, and again, if you've never done anything wrong,
340 million.
Ooh.
340 million. That's a huge gap.
Yeah, it's a huge.
Wow.
It's a big gap. So I will be.
There are people that have enough money that could give everybody $1 million.
There are.
Sorry.
It's neither here nor there.
That is so true.
So true. That we could all be millionaires if people were just more kind.
So
anyway,
that is my little update on the JonBenet Ramsey case, and maybe in 2026, maybe the year 30 years to. It might be 30 years to the year, but we finally solve.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
So
who did this?
Let's take a poll right now, and then we can revisit if it's solved. Mm-hmm. Who here thinks it is a family member?
I vacillate.
Oh, yeah sure.
I vacillate.
Jen and I raised our hands.
Yeah,
just
we
so
did.
You know.
Yeah, listeners that are not watching. Yeah,
I'll put up like half a hand.
Like a pinky.
Ash's got a half bang up.
I vacillate only because of some of the physical evidence and because of the ransom note. The ransom note to me is the biggest thing that suggests that someone within the home, at least, I also think it's Olivia, and this is why I vacillate. I think this is also one of those two things can be true at once situations, and I think it can be something like something terrible really did happen, but also I think maybe either in order to like save face for someone else or in order to get like more attention, maybe you did something else to sort of like add to this, like maybe you wrote the ransom note to make it like more of a thing and get like more urgency. So you didn't do this, but you did do this part, and you kind of shat the bed a little bit, and I don't know.
Yeah,
it's my 10-cent thought.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it could really possibly be solved in 2026.
Wow.
I think so.
That's
If it's solved in 2026, we're going to do an episode on it, even though it technically doesn't have anything to do with
Oh yeah.
arts and culture, other than Ashley loves it.
Well, I love
Not
it.
love is
Not
it's
love.
her
Yeah, it's a
Roman
weird-
Empire.
but upset-
She thinks
Ro-
about
yeah.
it all the time.
I've been fascinated by this for since I was 10. Since this happened, I have paid attention to this in some way, shape, or form. But I think it's also the it is one of those unusual, because like we always talk about a lot of these crimes or cases, you're most likely to be sadly killed by someone in your own home, like your spouse, your parent, whoever, like that is most likely. So if this is truly a stranger danger murder, it doesn't not happen, but it's so unusual.
And in Boulder, where they only had one murder the year before, and everyone's so happy and high all the time.
Yeah, and in this super
Well,
safe,
now,
super
they weren't then
affluent
high,
area.
but
It's like of all the places, of all the houses, and you found the one, and it happened to be unlocked. And like, was it truly like some maniac like wandered off the street? Like,
Just
were
that
they being
random-
stalked? Like, we don't know.
Is the note handwritten?
Yes, in pen. Yeah.
On
Was
her
it-
stationery.
Yeah.
On Patty's stationery.
I looked at going back to like the size 12 underwear. I was also like, there's a lot of people who are like, we exonerated this person in 1997. I'm like, did you though? Like, I wonder if it is going to be someone who they initially exonerated on something like, oh, their handwriting didn't match the ransom note. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't exonerate them on that. But it's like
you can write it with your left hand.
but it's like a family friend or somebody who it's like, where'd the size 12 underwear come from? And like, did they have a kid and like something went down and like they're the ones who put it on her like earlier in the night? Because the mom did not redress JonBenet for bed. Like, she basically put her to bed because she was already wearing like these like long johns. She put her to bed in like the clothes she was wearing, kind of thing.
Oh.
So it was like, when did the size 12s come into the picture? Like, did she get those before she left the house? Like, what is
Like,
that?
yeah. Well, and what if it was like, I mean, what if it was a lot of kids, right? Like, what if it was her brother and another kid, and some shit happened, and it was another parent that saw it and found it and covered it up?
Oh, boy.
Like, you know what I mean? I mean, that could be it too.
Well, and the the
Just
thing
to help their kids. Like, it's not
Cover up for their
evil.
kid.
It's just to help your children.
Yeah, and this is all again like super allegedly, and it
And
sounds
speculate.
like
We're just
it sounds like that forensically there is, and again, this is where it's one of those. It's like I don't know, because there are so many things that point in so many different directions, including like physical evidence, and including things like the pineapple, or like the underwear, or like the non-garrote, or like the DNA, or like just like so many things. And it's like, well, was it this or was it this? Was it all of them? And like, which pieces are red herrings, or which pieces are things that got accidentally included, where it was like, oh, this actually had nothing to do with anything. Like, did a random person who showed up at the house that morning take the pineapple out themselves?
because they were hungry.
Yeah, just like some idiot, just like
I need a little
Debbie's like at
snack.
the table, like eating pineapple, because she's like,
These rich people can handle. Like, I'm gonna eat their pineapple.
Yeah, and the pineapple's like a nothing burger. Like, we don't know. So I will be very curious to see what next year holds for this in particular, and if in fact then this does become one of those. And again, like genetic, DNA, like genealogy, like coming to the rescue to solve more crimes. So this might be the year, y'all.
This is what AI should be used for. Like, get on it.
Right?
Solving unsolvable crimes.
Get on
Solving
it,
the
AI.
crimes.
Stop writing things and acting in McDonald's commercials. Like,
Truly.
do it.
Well, Olivia, take us home. Like, bring it back.
Bring it back to some fun.
times.
Yeah, this is more lighthearted.
I was like, Jen had us up here. I brought us down. Olivia, like, bring us.
That's what
bring
we
us
do.
back
We're
up.
waves, guys. We're waves.
We are a wave of emotion.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap up our Christmas special with a visit to Germany and Southern Austria. as we dive into the legend of Krampus.
I know nothing about this. I know Krampus, and I know no information.
I'm so excited.
I'm about to share some Krampus with you, and I also found this does actually kind of tie into our overall podcast theme of arts and entertainment, because it has become very pop culture and present, especially in the United States the last several years.
It's huge. I went to Krampus Fest 2 weeks ago in the Milk District. It was a raining mess, but God, it was fun. I can't wait to go next year when it's actually dry.
I have also been to Krampus Fest, and it's
great. Next year,
it's hysterical. And they tell, and when they advertise Krampus Fest in the Milk District here, they say, if you have a child, leave by 9 unless you want your child to potentially be terrorized. So, and the parents that stayed, I was like, ooh, that is a bold move. What are we saying?
People take their kids to Halloween Horror Nights.
That's
You're coming in here with that stroller? Okay.
P.S. We all have to go to Halloween Horror Nights next year together.
Ooh.
That's it.
Well, so yes, back to which they actually had a Krampus house.
Because of the movie.
When was that?
A couple years ago, yeah.
Yes, they had a Krampus house. Yeah. Side note, so I'm calling this segment Enter Stage Right, Krampus.
Incredible.
Yeah. So Krampus is an Alpine folklore, which a lot of people say is pre-Christian, and he very likely is tied to, because like what Jen was talking about, there's a lot of kind of devils, gnomes. The Green Man actually has been associated with Krampus too, which is kind of interesting.
It's like an amalgamation of all these.
That's right. Of all these kind of.
He does have horns.
Yes. There's definitely kind of a devil aspect
and
to
hooves.
Krampus. And yes, one hoof.
What?
Oh,
Which is interesting. Yeah.
I
think
that.
sometimes we see him depicted in American culture with two hoofs, but the actual German, Austrian version kind of is one hoof and one human foot, which is
that.
Interesting.
So
There's kind of a lot of duality, dichotomy with this character.
There's a weird story. Side note: there's a weird story that happened in Ireland in the 1800s, where someone came in to play poker. It's very odd.
Okay.
A stranger at the door. He knocks at the door, comes in to play poker, and he has one club foot, but then this girl looks down and sees it, and it's a hoof.
Oh,
and it's the devil. And yeah,
well,
interesting.
see?
So that's interesting.
See,
yeah, that is interesting.
When you were saying horn and hoof, I was thinking, is this the movie, The Witch, and it's wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
The Witch is so good.
What is he? What is he? Other than we have a horn, we have a hoof. I'm getting a visual image.
I have a whole visual description. I'm going to paint a picture.
Well, shut up.
No, don't shut up. But I'm going to paint a picture.
What is this? Is it person? What is it?
Yeah. So yes and no.
Yes,
so
and
Krampus is very closely tied with Saint Nicholas. So Saint Nicholas showed up in the 16th. No, I just did it again. Saint Nicholas showed up in the 11th century.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Saint Nicholas was an 11th century character.
Okay.
Based on a real man. And
which I love.
Yes. So it was Nicholas of Myra, and it was actually a character out of Asia who was known for his benevolence, what's the word?
Benevolence,
is good.
Benevolence, thank you.
He was a
Towards
good
children.
guy.
He was a good guy towards poverty-stricken people, children, that kind of thing. And so he died on December 6th. And so the feast of St. Nicholas is on December 6th.
Yep.
Well, so he showed up in the 11th century.
Okay.
Around the 16th century, he got a buddy. And
It took him a couple years, but he got
That's
a
right.
buddy.
The buddy's name is Krampus. So Krampus doesn't actually show up in his current iteration until the 16th century. So that's interesting. There's 500 years
500
difference
years.
between these
What were
two
we
guys.
doing in the meantime?
Well,
Not celebrating Christmas, maybe? I don't know.
no, I think Christmas. Well, Saint Nicholas was around.
11th. No, they were.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were doing
Oliver
stuff.
Cromwell.
Yeah, you're
wasn't
kind of the
around yet.
historian of the group. You kind of
So,
know a
in
little more.
Oliver
in
Cromwell wasn't
winters,
around yet. We're
like,
good.
1186.
Yeah,
like,
Krampus
yeah.
was around before they got rid of Christmas.
Okay.
Yes, and there was that actually, it's interesting you talked about that. That actually comes up in my little historical dive as well.
I love it.
So, Krampus So, what is Krampus? Let me explain the character, what the appearance is. He appears as a man kind of figure, a male figure. He has horns. They're usually quite long, almost goat-like. Mm-hmm. He has one human foot and one hoof.
I didn't
foot
know
is
that. I
sending
love
me.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in his
Fascinating.
original iteration. Like I said, I think here in America, in the U.S., I've seen him at my Krampus fests. He usually has two hoofs, but actually the original depiction's one hoof, one human foot.
We make things easy over here in America, you know.
They're lazy. They're like, we
We're
can't
lazy.
draw that.
You know, Jen gets an iPhone so she doesn't have to learn Portuguese. You know,
Right.
we
We're
get-
going to give him two hoofs because it's easier to explain his balance. He is usually covered with some kind of black hair. He's a kind of a hairy guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a long snake-like tongue or dragon tongue. He carries with him chains, and often the chains have bells on them, and he likes to shake them to probably evoke
Jacob
fear.
Marley.
in
like
the
Marley,
hearts of
exactly.
children.
I was just going to say, like Jacob
Ooh.
Marley, yeah.
Huh.
There's a Marley thing.
The chains
Interesting.
that he forged in life, yes.
Yes, well, yes. And then chains are often associated with the Christian devil as well. So you're going to you probably notice some similarities between this description and the Christian devil description. The horns, the
Yeah.
tongue, the
Yeah,
hoof.
yeah.
Big time, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have put in the drive some imagery. If you go to our Google Drive, which we can use some of these images, Ashley, for
man.
our social when we...
My body is ready.
So excited.
So he also is usually depicted with a sack or a basket on his back. Sounds like Santa. He has a sack, but it's not there to distribute presents to the children, I'll tell you. He also has birch branches with him that he uses to swat children.
Why?
Or he has a whip, one
I
of the
shouldn't laugh.
two. And yes, so Krampus is like the antithesis of Saint Nick.
A little bit.
And so Saint Nick comes around, Saint Nicholas comes around every year to bestow presents and blessings on children that have behaved well during the year.
The good list, the nice list.
The nice list. Now, Santa cannot punish children. There's the whole thing if he gives coal to bad kids.
That's what I was going to
so-
say. This
Sure.
is
There's a
very
little bit of that.
interesting. It's very.
But he doesn't punish children. So Krampus is his accompaniment
His
to
punisher.
punish the bad children.
Stop it.
So Krampus uses his birch branch or a whip to whip naughty, evil children.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes further than that. The sack or the wooden basket he carries on his
Yeah.
back, he kidnaps the children, puts them in the sack or the basket
Yep.
to either drown, to either eat them, or to drag them into the underworld or hell.
Horrible.
So intense. So
It's
quickly.
horrible. If you are a fan of The Office, there is a Christmas episode where Dwight dresses up like Belschnickel. That's Krampus.
Belschnickel. So if you Google Krampus and you look him up,
Belschnickel.
there's a lot of really interesting other pagan
horrible.
characters with some bizarre names. I think Belschnickel was made up for The Office
Belschnickel.
because that's not one of them.
No,
But
it
they're
really is.
German-
It's there. It's real. I
Oh,
promise you.
well,
I would like to spare a moment for the one where he is also wearing like a blazer and breeches.
Well,
like,
you know,
while
he's a
doing-
gentleman.
Like he's like, but I got it. He's like, I'm about to go kidnap some kids, but first my blazer. Like, what?
yeah, let me.
Yeah.
Well, yes. So it's
Very
kind
upsetting.
of
Oh, now he's in a plane.
The-
What? Why
I
is
mean,
he
yeah, I know.
how
It's very funny. I'm going to get to
fascinating
some...
that it's not just coal. Like, oh, you're naughty. You're gonna have some coal in your stocking.
I'm gonna like
no,
put a child catcher on you. And
You're
No,
gonna
you-
go
Yeah.
with this thing.
You might disappear
I
and
was not ready.
get murdered.
Never come back.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Why
So,
is this beloved?
Because Ashley, the world has turned to shit, and we are entertained and by horror, and we're like, yeah, you get what's coming to you. No. So when Krampus came on the scene, there's an anthropologist, John Honigmann, from the 70s who studied a lot of Austrian and German culture. And he observed that masked devils or animal-like devils or demons are actually they were very common in German culture. And when Christianity and Saint Nicholas, who really he was a saint, he's in line with the Christian culture.
Yeah, he's a real saint.
Yeah, he's a real saint.
Yeah.
So he actually, there's still a lot of those kind of pagan winter solstice, you could say, winter characters that are still associated with Christmas and Saint and that exist around the Saint Nicholas character in these Eastern European countries or these European countries. So Krampus kind of came out of that as the antithesis to Santa.
A little bit.
Yes.
Little bit.
So they're pairing.
Just a little antithesis.
Yeah, they're pairing. So we had Saint Nick, 11th century, Krampus, 16th century. They really paired up in the 17th century and became a unified idea. So in one of the images that I found, there's an image of Saint Nick with Krampus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So they started showing up together in the 17th century. And what's interesting is there is a celebration called Krampusnacht, which is Krampus night. That is December 5th. So it's the night before the Feast of St. Nicholas.
It's so much.
These two are
I'm
very...
gonna start celebrating that every year.
Well, that's when they have Krampus Fest.
so
You did.
much.
You didn't even know. You celebrated Krampus
I did
night.
celebrate it. I got drenched.
That's right.
It was miserable, but God, it
This is so interesting because I feel like obviously we don't live in Europe where they're holding
maybe someday
Krampusnacht, but the this like coming over to again like even like our area for like a Krampus fest or something. I feel like this is like a relatively maybe like a new resurgence because can we just spare a moment? Can we imagine like the mall Santa extravaganza of the 1990s, but then also adjacent to having your photo taken with Santa, there's also like this horrifying nightmare just like
You were bad.
And it's like, do you want your photo with Santa or Krampus, kids? Like what are we
Or Krampus.
Can you imagine?
You
God.
Like the number of children who melt down about Santa.
Oh my God! Could you?
Like, can you envision like your toddler just like this scenario? Like I can't imagine why it didn't like it wasn't more.
When the Krampus movie came out in like 20. I know you'll get to this. Sorry, spoiler alert. 2015. When I was an elf at SeaWorld at this time, and we used to do a lot of like weird research about like Christmas traditions. And that year happened to be the year that we were all about Krampus. There's a great picture of like 20 elves like with our little horns up.
Horns.
Krampus. And we would leave set every time, be like, Krampus! Nobody knew what we were talking about. And then that movie came out. And we were like, oh, and we all went to go see it, and it was great. But no one had ever heard of Krampus before.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it became like a really big part of American culture.
Yeah. And it's really funny because it's always been a thing in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Except
exactly.
For the time when Christmas was shut down, all the Krampus festivals were also shut down.
They were probably even worse than those Christmas festivals. I mean,
well,
Krampus.
Well, maybe. But what's interesting too is so over here in our country, it's really taken on a horror.
It has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas in Europe, maybe, I mean, I think it did start out probably that way because demons and,
Sure, yeah.
dark
Horns.
evil spirits,
Devil's
but
gonna
it's
get
a
ya.
little more campy.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so in Germany, this started in the early 1900s.
Okay.
The century we were all born in.
Shut
They do they do Christmas cards but the cards are, let me see if I can say this right. It's Grüße vom Krampus, which means greetings from Krampus.
I love it.
So several of these images that I found for our drive, these are
from
vintage greeting cards from the early
Stop
1900s
it.
that people send each other because it's funny. And these cards are Krampus kidnapping children.
So this is like, we have like a Courier in Ives, or you can have like a Krampus, like is like literally like
That's it.
chasing after kids to snatch them.
That's exactly
Snatch
right.
'em
One
up.
of my favorite things that I discovered was
my gosh.
so modern times in Europe, they still have these greetings from Krampus cards, kind of like "Wish you were here."
Krampus!
Is eating your children.
Oh my god!
Wish
in
Krampus
addition
was
to
eating
that-
your children.
Yeah, in southern Austria, which is really where the birth of Krampus seems to be linked to that specific region,
Also, the
but of
sound
course
of
it's
music.
And great Christmas markets. So it
the
all
hills
makes
are
sense.
alive with the sound of Krampus.
Things not on my bingo card.
Yeah, right?
The something that is done there is birch bundles, because again, birch,
Okay.
he carries a sprig of birch with him to beat children.
Beat the children.
Birch bundles are dipped in
I mean,
gold
same.
and put on display all year round for the parents to remind their kids that Krampus is watching. Don't forget about Krampus.
That's so
He's
funny
coming.
because I feel like in America, it's like, you know, in November, it's like Santa's watching. You want to be on the nice
Yeah.
list. You'll
Well,
get coal in
and
your
now
stocking.
we have like the elf on the shelf
The elf
doing
on the
that
shelf.
job. Like,
The
yeah.
scout elf.
I mean,
exactly.
That's Elf on the Shelf is probably just like a little Krampus demon. We just
He
haven't
is.
realized.
The little scout elf.
We are so soft in this country because these kids
They
have been
don't
growing
know.
up with this stuff in Europe for centuries. So,
Yeah, they'll get beaten, kidnapped, and maybe killed
Right.
by
there's
Krampus.
there
Right.
was a photo, Olivia, that you put on the drive of this Krampus fest, basically.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming from Europe. And there was a child who
Yes.
was delighted to be
Yes.
there.
He's
Like,
so happy
this
Yes.
kid is
to be
loving
held
it.
by Krampus.
Krampus. I love
Yeah.
that photo. I
I
think that
know.
needs to be our
He's like,
lead photo of our episode. We have
Yeah.
Krampus!
Krampus
And I
is
guess
great.
so how
I mean,
it's-
I agree.
How
It-
it's sold to you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this kid is thrilled.
That kid knows that he's on the nice list, so he's fine with it. He's
Maybe
like,
that's what it
Krampus
is.
can't do anything to me.
Some of these
You know?
modern like Krampus masks are also giving like orcs from like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I feel like the face like some of the-
I think you're right. I think that there is such a, what's the word, archetype.
yeah.
Krampus fits the archetype of the Christian devil, which I
Yeah,
think
yes.
completely.
actually one of the pieces I read said that there is assumption that the imagery of the Christian version of the devil actually
Came
came from this character, which
Well,
is
and
older
some-
than Krampus.
And some of
But
your
so-
pictures are he has
Yeah.
a red face.
Yes.
Which
And
is
some
very
of them
devil-like,
he's black.
obviously.
He's all like black, like a dark,
and-
like deep black color.
And the
with
devil
like
is
a red
depicted as
tongue.
both. So
With
Yeah.
with the goat feet and the hairy and the witch, wouldst thou like to live deliciously? I'm just saying it's not that. Like
yep.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it's so interesting because I think this type of look and character shows up all across pop culture around the world. You know, so I'm gonna get into some. So modern times, Krampus has definitely had a surge in American pop culture, kind of like soccer. You know,
What
not
are the
saying they're
European
linked.
We're a
things
little
are
late to the
fun?
game, but
I'm
that's
just
fine.
saying
It's fine.
we're finally assimilating with our
Yeah,
European
yeah.
counterparts.
Oh my gosh.
And Krampus can also, something that America has done, which again, America sees it a little bit more horror than
Yeah.
Europe sees it a little more tongue in cheek. But on the other hand, America also sees it as a bit of an anti-hero
Yeah.
to kids and consumerism and Christmas and like excessive capitalism. It's kind of an anti-hero to that.
Oh, I love
That's
that.
kind of the message that is part of the Krampus lore over here.
Okay.
So, pop culture, where has Krampus showed up? Krampus, the movie, yes, 2015. That was one of the. No, that's okay. That
I
was
love
one
it.
of the.
It's my favorite.
Well, that's so funny, Jen.
I love
that you say that because
Okay.
we're building up to a big twist.
Oh
here.
no.
So it's funny that you
Oh, that I say that?
specifically like
Oh,
Krampus.
Shoot. Okay.
Okay. So,
Yikes.
several sequels of that Krampus movie have come out, and that they were the original was actually, for a horror movie, pretty well reviewed, and it was the first like horror Christmas movie that became super popular. There's been some other, like in the 70s, there was Black Christmas.
Black Christmas.
And,
They redid it a couple years ago too.
They did. They redid that. Fun fact I discovered, Black Christmas was directed by the same guy that directed A Christmas Story.
Nuh-uh.
So he did Black Christmas first, and then he came back and did like
He was like,
Ralphie.
"Hold on,
and
let me-
out, kid.
I'm going to try something else.
You'll shoot your
Yeah.
eye out. Yeah. So funny little thing there. I also think this is not part of the official Krampusness, but I think gremlins look like little Krampus guys.
Oh my God, they're little baby Krampus.
They're baby
running
Krampuses.
around. Don't get them wet.
Don't get
Exactly. Don't feed them after midnight. So, also there's some fun TV references to Krampus, and a couple of these I thought you guys would find funny.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
First of all, in the spirit of Jensen Ackles, there is one of my favorite supernatural episodes is called A Very Supernatural Christmas. And the brothers encounter murders in this town that are happening during Christmas, and people are getting sucked up chimneys, and they think it's Krampus.
Oh my gosh.
Do you watch it every year?
I
You
every
should.
year.
You should watch
That
it every
and
year.
Home Alone. No,
Watch that every year with your candle burning in the background.
that's right.
Rock be damned. Like, get it? Like,
And I'm like, if Krampus comes, who's gonna save me? Dean Winchester.
Winchester.
Oh my god.
The other TV show that I thought was hilarious, and I'm gonna have to try to Google this and YouTube it, find it. There's a 2012 episode of Scooby-Doo
Stop it.
called Wrath of the Krampus.
Scooby-Doo got in on this?
Scooby-Doo got into it, and I read the plot, so I know who Krampus really is. Those meddling kids figured out. I don't want to spoil it,
Those meddling kids.
but there's actually a Krampus episode of Scooby-Doo.
Oh my gosh.
And of course, there's
Mr. Weaver from down the street.
That's right. It's old Mr. Harley.
He's hiding in the old mill.
It's Scrooge.
It's Jacob Marley. Yeah. The festivals that happen now, this has in the last 10 years become huge. Even like New York, LA, they have big Krampus festivals. We have it here in the Milk District in Orlando. That's near downtown. If
so
you guys are like,
cool.
what is there's dairy plants were
It's
in this
still
particular
there.
area. Yeah. Yeah.
You'll see the cows, not actual cows, like cows painted.
They're on top of
That's
buildings.
where it is.
It's,
Fake
you
cow.
have to be here. You have to be
Yeah,
here.
you got to see it. It's
yeah.
cool though.
It is.
Come
Also,
join
I
us.
was just in Boston a couple weeks ago.
Yes, you
and
saw snow for the first time, everybody.
I did.
It was so
Very-
wholesome.
It was so wholesome. It was so sweet.
wholesome thing I've
and
ever done.
wonderful. Yeah.
But we went to Salem because, hello, of course.
Yeah.
Gotta
And
do it.
Salem had a winter market, and there was this really big, cool animatronic Krampus at like the entrance of the winter market. So that was. What's interesting too is the Krampus here is dressed like Santa here, like
Yes.
our version of Santa, which is based on. Spoiler alert for anybody that has like Santa that we see in the red suit with the red hat. That is based on a Coca-Cola ad from like the
1930s.
That was when
30s?
yeah, that was when they solidified the outfit, because before that Santa's outfit was a bit of a free for all.
Yeah, green
it
a
was-
lot because Father
green.
Christmas had a green one. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like it was actually, I think Olivia was like 47, 48, because it was
you go.
post-war, and they're like, okay, we got to get our act
right.
together, because
Right.
like sometimes he was in a green outfit and sometimes
Right,
it
sometimes
was
he was
red,
in a
and they
red
were
outfit.
Like, we got to commit, like,
Consumerism.
consistency.
Yeah. And some of the original images of him back from like 12th, 13th century, he is in red because he looks like a cardinal.
Yes.
Because he was a saint.
Yes.
Not Cardinal the bird.
No,
Cardinal,
the
the
church.
The Catholic,
like,
yeah.
the church bishop, like.
But so
whatever.
a lot of times Krampus shows up in our lore in a Santa suit. He's in a red or like a hooded. Yeah.
Yep.
In Europe, which these photos are from,
God, it's so good.
I found this blogger that had gone to Austria. These,
so
I think it's 2017 is where these photos are from. So fairly recently, they have parades. So they have these big parades where men dress up as Krampus and they chase children. and everybody's like, yes,
it.
little Timmy, you're 6. You're old enough to run from Krampus.
Oh my God, it's like the running of the bulls, the running of the Krampus.
Oh my god.
the running of the Krampus, and you send your children out there. But it's a little more tongue in cheek. But that's what these photos are from.
That's why those
like,
kids are so
festival.
happy. They're like,
That's
he
wild.
chased me.
6-year-old me
Death in the
would
face.
never recover. Like I would have died dead at the Krampus Fest. And
Oh my God, I love it.
I would have never recovered. I would
that
have
kid
been
is so
traumatized.
happy about being caught by Krampus.
That's right. He's
He's
thrilled.
so happy about it.
It's like, this is the moment of my life.
Oh
Who
my
needs
God.
Mickey Mouse? I need Krampus.
Not
So-
me.
Mickey Mouse.
Give me
There-
Mickey all
Not
day.
me.
There's also a play. So to bring it back to the
That's
stage,
right.
like we always got to do, there's a play. It was written in 2022 by Brent Holland. It's called A Krampus Carol. Jacob Marley visits Krampus because of Krampus's wicked ways, and Krampus doesn't want to change. He doesn't want to be redeemed. He's fine with how he is, and it's Concord Theatricals. So
We
but
can get the right.
we
licensed.
can get the rights. But I looked up. They have like a list, of all the places that have done it. It's mostly high schools. There's never been a
sure.
professional production. So
I can't imagine why. Like no
Yet.
theaters. Like we're gonna bank our Christmas season on this
On this
car
Krampus.
crash.
forget it's a good man, Charlie Brown.
Krampus.
Do we want
Carol.
to do like It's a Wonderful Life or Rudolph? They're like, no.
No.
we're
No,
gonna do
this
some
year's
Krampus.
Krampus.
production of A Christmas Carol is now going to be
A Krampus
substituted
Carol.
with A Krampus Carol.
He really slays.
Da, da, da.
Pause for effect. So I keep alluding to the fact that there's a twist to this whole
Yeah,
research.
bring us home, Olivia.
And I said, Jen, it's so interesting that you loved the movie Krampus.
I do.
So,
I love it so much. Tell me everything.
several years ago, I think it was around 2014, so maybe before the Krampus movie, right after, there were reports that there was going to be a Krampus movie called Anti-Claus to be directed by Kevin Smith. However,
I remember this.
it wasn't made, and it was morphed into another Kevin Smith movie called Kilroy Was Here.
Jen is out of her chair.
Hey, Jen.
Oh my God,
do you know anybody that was in Kilroy Was Here? Ladies and
Guys.
gentlemen, Jen Bonner is in the movie Kilroy Was Here, directed by Kevin Smith.
Yeah, it was like the greatest day of my life.
What?
So his Krampus
That's
movie
right. I totally forgot about that.
didn't happen. It turned into a different kind of horror movie
Oh my
called Kilroy Was Here.
gosh.
It is the first feature film that was ever released as an NFT, which is why you've never seen it.
That's right. You've never seen it. You may have never heard of Kilroy Was Here, but it's actually it's a movie directed by Kevin Smith. Kevin liked Jen.
He did.
Jen's in the freaking movie.
I'm in the first. You're the first thing you see when it pops up on the screen, and he was the nicest person I've ever met. It was the greatest day of my life.
And
'Cause
so
I love
Jen,
Kevin Smith.
Amazing.
it's your fault that there's no Krampus movie by
It's
Kevin
my
Smith.
fault. It's all my fault.
Oh, Olivia.
Oh my
what a twist. I did not see that coming.
That was the best.
I was
twist.
reading this going, holy
Oh my
shit,
God.
this could not get
You're
any freaking
so
better right now.
I totally forgot about that.
This is
You've
even better
made
than
my
our
Christmas.
This is even better than our twist that Boston Corbett may or may not have been a Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
What a
Yeah.
wow! Bringing it all the way around, Olivia. Well done.
Here we
Very
are.
Thank
well
you.
done.
Thank you.
Everybody buy the NFT, and you can see it.
That's right.
You can see
watch
Jen.
Kilroy Was
Yeah.
Here.
Kilroy was
I
good.
still haven't seen it, but you can send it to me.
But you're
Yep.
screenshots. Yeah.
Screenshots.
I'm in it.
Oh,
Well, ladies, look at the time.
the time.
We did
We
it.
did
We
it.
hit our hard deadline. We got all three of our stories.
We have festive shit to do.
A man
there
just
I rock.
Krampus
Thank
just ran behind me.
God, I was waiting for him to run by. He hadn't done it yet
it's got to
in
do
this
it.
segment.
I
I
love it.
think next year for Krampus Fest, we should be live. I think we should do a live. But they have a stage. Like we could do a show.
Oh my
They
god!
have a
All right,
stage.
add it to
Add
the
it to
mood
the
board for
docket.
2026.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Okay.
It's happening. Well, listeners, we'll be getting back with you at some point here in the near future with our Olivia's got her candles.
Hair candles.
Benson and Jensen.
Benson and Jensen.
Benson Jensen. We'll get back to you with when season 3 is going to
It's
launch.
coming.
It's coming.
No deets yet.
No information yet, but it is in fact coming. There is a doc. There are plans being planned. So we'll let you know when that bad boy
There's
is
a-
dropping. Well, Merry Christmas, Floozies.
Merry Christmas, floozies. Happy New Year. Tits out.
Tits
Look at that
out.
floozy.
I love it.
And scene.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Wicked Stage Pod.
Follow us on Instagram and check out our Patreon for more exclusive content.
These deliciously wicked episodes drop every other Friday, so make sure you subscribe or follow and don't get left waiting in the wings.